So the question for today is most of my clientele is from abroad, and every time I open the news, there's some disturbance going on and the project stalls. I'm so stressed out with this constant volatility. I'm wondering if I should just go back to a stable job. At least I'll have a paycheck every month.
Oh my God. Okay. See, this wave of stress that you're getting, right, from a regular 9 to 5 job. Okay. But is a 9 to 5 actually safe? Right? In a
Hmm.
volatile market, having only one client, which is your boss, is the biggest risk you can take, boss. Right?
Yeah.
Diversity isn't just for the stock market, right? It's for your survival.
No, that's true. Like we saw that during COVID also, right? There were
Yeah.
firings happening left, right, and center. And I
Yeah.
think this was the biggest lesson that millennials and Gen Zs learned during COVID, that it's very important to have more than one source of income. And right,
Do you,
you're right. You're right. Like your 9 to 5 just has one client, and you as a freelancer you have an option to have more than one client.
no, this COVID thing seems to have impacted a lot of Gen Zers. Can you talk more about that? Like, what exactly changed in your mind?
Yeah, during COVID, we didn't know how long it was gonna be, right?
Mm,
There were some people who were living at home, but there were some people who were stuck in their rented places, and all of that stuff was going on. And
yeah.
during that time, especially like the Indian companies held out. Most of the Indian
Yeah.
companies didn't fire employees,
Sure.
but anybody who was employed with foreign companies or even the Mang companies and all of that, there was a lot of massive firing happening. And then because there was a massive firing happening, and then the world was in a constant recession, right? And
Mm,
there was no light at the end of the tunnel. We didn't know if we were going to get another job or not. And
yeah.
so I was doing MBA at that time, right? We were in the second year. We were during going through that entire phase of getting
Yeah.
the summer internships and the placements and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. And there was a big hit in the kind of companies that came to any MBA school, right? And this
Yeah.
is happening in the top tier colleges of the country.
Yeah.
Now imagine
Yeah.
if you are in an early stage job, right? And
Yeah.
as most of Gen Zers must have been at that time, right? You
Yeah.
don't have any experience. The very qualified people are getting fired, and then they are trying to get entry
Mm,
level jobs. It was a massive hit. A lot of people, there was a lot of uncertainty, because we were in a constant place. Like there were constant recessions happening year
mm,
after year, right? And we didn't know if it was gonna get better anytime soon, because phase one ended, there was some hope, and then a few months later another lockdown happened, and that was the worst phase. The phase two was the worst phase throughout the world. The vaccines weren't out yet. We didn't know when it was gonna end.
and yeah, no,
And
it
then the
seems to
medical bills were also expanding, right?
increasing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were, unfortunately, there were so many people who had deaths in the family, or there were constant hospitalizations. Now, if
Yeah.
somebody in your family has to be hospitalized for COVID, right? It's every day. It's at least 80,000, 1 lakh rupees going in. And if you just have a stable job, and it's not a
Yeah.
very high paying job, and there are no savings, that was mostly the case with the millennials and the Gen Zers, right? It was a very tumultuous kind of a situation. Like, how are we going to afford
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah,
right?
no, I think basically, if you look at it biologically, when the environment becomes unpredictable, right,
Yeah.
our freeze response kicks in. Your brain is telling you to stop moving and conserve energy, right,
Yeah.
which must have happened in the COVID. But in a volatile market, the freeze is exactly what kills your momentum.
Yeah, and this is the time when we have to remind ourselves that we have to stop looking at the macro noise and start looking at the leading metrics. Like you
Yeah,
have to constantly tell yourself that I don't care what the S&P 500 or Sensex is doing today. I care about how many outreach emails I am sending this morning.
yeah, yeah. No, basically, you have to try to don't fight your biology. You have to bypass it. Limit the noise. You have to focus on what creates a signal and build a routine that works even when the outside world is chaotic and is not working.
Yeah, I mean, look at the situation that's going on right now, right? Like,
Hmm.
obviously, we knew that something was going to happen with US and Iran, right?
Yeah.
People,
Oh my God. Yeah.
Iran is not an economy that you would have a lot of freelance clients in or something like that, obviously. But US is a market, but then US is sort of a stable market in the sense that you don't immediately start
Yeah.
losing your clientele. But the Middle East thing was a complete shocker.
Yeah.
Complete shocker. Nobody expected Saudi Arabia or UAE to get involved in a war, right? Unfortunately, Iran had a brainwave. So
Yeah. No, no, I don't know whether Iran had a brainwave or Trump had a brainwave, but basically you can't think too much about this.
yeah,
What you have to understand is that okay, there's the whole AI conundrum that's happening, and you might
yeah,
be losing a lot of work. There's wars that are happening, and whether it's the Russia-Ukraine war or the
yeah,
Iran-US war, you are going to get impacted. And
yeah,
I think that the best way to prepare for it is in peace, not when war is happening. And I don't mean the war that's happening between US and Iran, but the war that is happening towards getting clients and stuff. Right? Because it is a war when you're trying to fight and be reactive. And I
mm,
think that the most important thing over here is to sweat in peace rather than bleed in war. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you have to create those connects across markets. So maybe you need to kind
yeah.
of look at yourself as a stock manager or stock broker, and kind of diversify the way in which you're looking at your offering.
Yeah, so this reminds me of when I was doing my chemical engineering, right? I think I've done both of my degrees in recession. I am a child
Yeah.
of recession.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when we were doing our chemical engineering, that was the 2016-17 time,
Yeah.
when the placements were supposed to happen, and the oil recession hit. And I
My
was a
God. So you
chemical
got hit
engineer.
twice because of problems. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
exactly, right. And
Yeah.
the college that I was studying in, it's one of the only like 5-6 petroleum colleges in the country, and
Mm,
that's one of the
mm.
best, right? But it's an oil recession. The oil
Yeah.
companies aren't hiring, the refineries are getting hit. India was still safer because the deregulation mechanism, but still it was a huge hit,
Mm.
right, overall. And it was a very confusing situation because we were undergrads, we had absolutely nothing. We just had our degrees, right?
Yeah.
That's all we had, that's all we knew. And it
Yeah.
wasn't even something in tech that you could do freelancing about. It was chemical engineering. Like, how the hell can you make a distillation column as a freelancer? It's not possible, right?
Yeah.
So we were stuck. And the kind of companies that were coming, they were non-core companies, and all of that was going on. I was very lucky to get into Pidilite, which gave me a business development sort of a thing. And that is when I realized, it's important, it's imperative that you should diversify not just your clientele but your skill sets,
I
right?
think, yeah, no, no, absolutely. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I mean, because something is gonna be hampered by something, right? And then another thing will be the safe haven for that time, and then that thing gets splashed. Now if we look at this era, right, for example, the AI bubble that's happening, anybody who was only a writer has gotten hit, but
Yeah.
anybody who was a strategist, also a content writer, also a designer, they are safe.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say earlier is this is also where your narrative takes a hit. So right now I am mentoring people who are not yet placed, okay, across a lot of institutes.
Yeah,
And what tends to happen is that when you have been in an interview for about 10 odd times, and when you have failed, it gets worse and worse and worse for you, right?
yeah,
And what tends to happen is that you just lose your own identity, and then you start parroting what people's advice is for you, right? So, and they it might be well meaning, you're trying to go every which way. And what I noticed, I was just speaking with a student, and what she was like getting into was like she was just not stopping. When I said, tell me about yourself, she was just not stopping. She just went on and on and on, and she basically unfortunately bored me. And I said, why are you not stopping? Why are you just not stopping at a couple of sentences, and should I say more,
yeah,
or something like that? And I just realized that it's emotionally, traumatic for a person, so they just want to get everything out there. And I think that sort of narrative actually harms you. So I
yeah,
think the work that you have to do is to be neuroplastic enough for you to be adaptive. And
yeah,
adaptation is the strategy for all of us to have, whether you're a fresher or whether you're on the growth path, whether you're waiting for some side gig to happen, whether you're in a job. I think that this becomes the core skill, in order for your story not to be polluted by the
yeah.
environment.
There
The,
is this term. It's mainly used for ADHD people, but it's very significant. Like Ferrari brains with a bicycle brake, Right?
Yeah.
And I think that is very much prevalent today because there are so many resources, there are so many things to do, and we are, constantly in a flux because
Yeah.
either we are thinking, we should go to Instagram also, we should become an influencer, we should do this, we should get clients, we should get a mang job, we should get do this, we should do cooking, we should
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
start a cloud kitchen, and all of that is happening, right? So that's a Ferrari brain on this. And when it comes to building a narrative, right, we don't know how
Hmm.
to fit one thing. And
No.
especially if you're a polymath, right,
Yeah.
it becomes excessively difficult to understand who you are. I myself have struggled with it. I've been struggling with it since the last 10 years. Like, I didn't know what am I can do anything, right?
Yes.
And whatever I start, somehow it's good, but it's fun. But you have to choose one thing because the people who are succeeding are good at one thing. So, like, what do you do? And then how do you build your narrative so that you are able to diversify your skills, you are able to tell that I have a diverse skill set, but
Yeah.
you're not overwhelming them with, okay, this is a person who can do everything, so that means they can't do anything.
No, I think the thing that you said was very significant. I'm just going to build on that a little.
Yeah.
I think you talked about the stacking of skills. And now the stacking of skills is really critical. Bill Gates didn't become successful because he was a computer engineer. He became
Yeah.
successful because of his second skill, which was in his ability to communicate about his computer skills as well.
Yeah.
So when you actually look at your set of skills, instead of looking at it as an either or a polymath situation, I'm good at everything, why not just stack those skills on top of each other and
Yeah.
then see the narrative that flows rather than
Yeah.
actually try to create and move between narratives?
And
Otherwise,
this
you'll
is
just
where
drive yourself crazy. Yeah.
Correct. And this is where the workshop that you did with me, right, that helped
Yeah.
a lot, in the sense that I realized, okay, I can do so many things, but what
Yeah.
is my core? What is
Yeah.
my one meaning? Because that meaning is always one. You might
Yeah.
have a lot of interests, but your core value will be one. So that stacking becomes that much simpler if you know that
Yeah.
one core value, and then it just becomes about distribution mechanisms.
Yeah. And the last thing that I'd like to add to this is don't let the feedback from the environment, which is going to be negative, okay, impact your identity. Then
Yeah.
don't let it impact your identity or your story. Just look at yourself in the mirror and ask whether the story still holds or does the story need to change a bit. Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you will figure out that, oh, the story just needs to be tweaked a little, but the core meaning remains the same.
Remains the same, yeah. And so I think we completely skipped over what this person asked us.
Okay. All right. And what has the person asked?
No, so
Sorry.
basically they want to know. I think their main issue is that their clientele was from this from the country that is in a war situation at the moment, right
Yeah.
now, and all of this volatility. I'm sure they must mean that they started from the COVID and all of that stuff was happening, and then
Yeah.
there were constant recessions, and there is a lot of volatility happening. So how do you keep yourself when when you don't know that your next paycheck is going to come from somewhere, right? How do you keep yourself stable minded enough to keep building your portfolio or to keep building your narrative and all of that stuff while still searching for that paycheck? So I think anxiety control is an issue over here.
Anxiety control is an issue. Narrative strengthening also you can do. You probably need to kind of not be in this situation in the first place. Maybe that yeah. So wherein look, you can't predict wars or whatever, but if
Yeah.
you're going to look at different sectors, if you're going to
Yeah.
look at different countries, it
Yeah.
might help.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You can't just bank on one country because there is a war everywhere. If it's not a war, it's a recession. It's some kind of shit happening these days. Like either Korea market will go down, or Russian market will
Yeah.
go down, or Indian market will go down. Something or the other is happening. So you always have to be, you already have a lot of interests, right? Or
Yes.
you have a lot of skill sets. Then make sure that there is some channel, some different channel, diverse channel for every kind of skill set that you do, right? Try
And
to get
yeah.
a design client from UK as well as from Australia as well as from Canada and all of that stuff. Try to diversify as much as possible so that you at least there is some income coming in.
And this is where your story has to be flexible, because the
Yeah,
story that you've been telling people in one market is not necessarily
not gonna
transportable
work.
to the others, right?
Correct.
So there's a lot of work that you can do in order to not just keep yourself busy, but actually have an impact
Yeah,
immediately. So
yeah,
be empathetic with your client, is what I would say to this person. Be
yeah,
empathetic with your client. Don't push, because it will just make matters worse. But
yeah.
make sure that you look at your story and see whether that narrative holds true for other markets or shift and be adaptable for other
Yeah.
markets.
Or have enough knowledge about different markets, right?
Yeah,
At least 5 to 6 markets to know that if I need to switch immediately, I know what strings I'm pulling in which market. I need to know
a-
how to talk to a how to speak to a Canadian client will be very much different than how you speak to an Indian client or a UAE client or something like that. So you need to know
absolutely.
your once you have your skill set, you need to know your different markets.
Absolutely. Well said. Now, Niklo Fursat se.